वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तो वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतपितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीगणेशाय नमः. Whenever somebody is blessed by an elderly person in our Bharatiya tradition, you will see that he blesses them with Dirgha Ayushamastu or Dirgha Ayushman Bhava, etc. Which means that the best wishes that you can give to somebody is the wish of longevity for him. And it is human nature to live longer, because the desires in this earth doesn't come to an end very quickly. So the people desire to live longer and longer. Although it is well known that the lifespan of a human being is fixed by nature to a certain number of years, and those years are modified according to his karmas. So it can be full life or it can be shorter life according to whatever karma he has brought in from his previous births. In my previous sessions about Raja Yoga and some of the special yogas of prosperity and wealth, my students had asked about longevity determination, as there in those Raja Yogas we have mentioned that the Raja Yoga, as we calculate from the horoscope, is only available if a person lives long enough to enjoy it. So we will get on with the Ayurdaya or determination of longevity in a horoscope in a very brief term in this session, and later I will take a longer session for doing certain calculations. There is a quotation here from the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. Adau janmangado vipra rishtarishtham vicharayed tadasthanvadi bhavanam jatakasya bhalam vaded. The meaning of this is that, hey, learned Brahmin, or is addressing the astrologer. Look here, Mr. Astrologer, you don't start looking at the lagna and the bhavas and then start telling predictions or start telling good things or bad things about the native or the holder of the horoscope without first looking at what evil is going to befall on him, what arishtam, what is the death causing points in his horoscope. Now you suppose the astrologer looks at bhavas and the Vimshottari Dasha or the Kalachakra Dasha periods, and he says that 50 years you are going to become a king. But the astrologer has forgotten to see that this man is only destined to live up to 40 years of age. So determination of longevity to a reasonable extent, whether he has a long life or a short life, is required before talking about forecast of or prediction of his future. That is what this sloka means. So whenever as astrologers you get a horoscope in your hand, somebody has come to ask you for predictions. So when you get an horoscope in your hand to do some prediction, the first thing is to quickly make an assessment of his longevity. Okay? The first quick check for longevity is with the method of three pairs. The three pairs are Lagna and Hora Lagna. The second is the Lagna Lord and the Ashtama Lord, or the 8th house Lord. And the third is the Lagna and the Moon, or alternatively the Moon and Saturn. Why this third pair is given in 2 is if Moon is in Lagna or the 7th, then the pair Lagna and Moon should be used. When the Moon is not in either the Lagna or in the 7th house, then the Moon and Saturn pair should be used. The determination of these pairs are done by looking at the position of these pairs, where they are located, in which type of rashis, in which characteristics of the rashi in which they are located. That means whether this pair is located in Chara Rashi, Sthira Rashi or Ubhaya Rashi. We will see the detail in the next slide. Now see here in this table, I have made 3 columns. The title of those 3 columns are Dirghayu, Madhyayu and Alpayu, or long life, average life, or medium life and short life. And the pairs which we talked about in the last slide, that is Lagna Lord and 8th Lord, Lagna and Moon or Moon and Saturn, and Lagna and Hora Lagna. These pairs, where they are located. Now have a look here. The Lagnesh and Ashtamesh, Lagna Lord and the 8th Lord, Lagna and the Hora Lagna, the Moon and Saturn, or Lagna and Moon for that matter. So Lagnesh is in Chara, Ashtamesh is also in Chara. That means the Lord of the Lagna is placed in a Chara Rashi, in a movable Rashi. All of you know what are Chara Rashis, what are Sthira Rashis. The 1, 2, 3, if you keep counting them from Mesha onwards, in sequence they will come as Chara Sthira Ubhaya, Chara Sthira Ubhaya. Okay. So Mesha and Kadaka will be Chara, etc. So Lagna Lord is placed in Chara Rashi. The 8th Lord is also placed in Chara Rashi. Then the patient, the native has got a long life. Likewise, when Lagna and Hora Lagna both are placed in Chara Rashis, he has a long life. The Moon is in Chara Rashi, Saturn is in Chara Rashi, similarly he has got a long life. When Lagna Lord and 8th Lord, Lagna Lord is not in Chara Rashi, he is in a Sthira Rashi, and the 8th Lord is in a Ubhaya Rashi. Then also he has got long life. Lagna Lord is in Ubhaya Rashi, 8th Lord is in Sthira Rashi, the other way around. Means one of them is in Sthira Rashi, the other is in Ubhaya Rashi. Then also there will be long life. So both of them in Chara Rashi, and one in Sthira Rashi and one in Ubhaya Rashi, you have got Dirghayu. A quick check. The next, one is in Chara Rashi, the other is in Sthira Rashi, and both are in Ubhaya Rashi. One is in Chara Rashi, the other is also in Sthira Rashi. The one is in Sthira Rashi, the other is in Chara Rashi. That means two of them, the pair, is placed in Chara and Sthira combination. Movable and fixed sign combination. or both are in Ubhaya Rashi. Lagna Lord is also in Ubhaya Rashi, 8th Lord is also in Ubhaya Rashi. Lagna is in Ubhaya Rashi, Hora Lagna also is in Ubhaya Rashi. Moon is in Ubhaya Rashi, Saturn is in Ubhaya Rashi. In this combination, medium life can be predicted. Now one is in Chara, the other is in Ubhaya. Lagna Lord is in Chara, 8th Lord is in Ubhaya. Lagna is in Chara, Hora Lagna is in Ubhaya. Or vice versa. Ubhaya and Chara. Lagna Lord is in Ubhaya, 8th Lord is in Chara. Or both of them are in Sthira Rashis. Lagna Lord in Sthira, 8th Lord is in Sthira. Lagna is in Sthira, Hora Lagna is in Sthira. Moon is in Sthira, Saturn is in Sthira. So if you get the horoscope, quickly look at the Lagna Lord and the 8th Lord position. Both of them are in Chara Rashi. Good. You have got a good life, long life. One is in Chara and other is in Sthira, or both are in Ubhaya, you have got an average life. If they are placed in Ubhaya and Chara, or both in Sthira, then you have got a point to worry. Now the table is a little difficult to remember, not easy for everybody. Some people can quickly make by heart all the text that what they see on the screen or the textbook, but everybody is not like that. So there is a simplified method here. Give a number 1 to Chara Rashi, a score of number 1. Sthira Rashi, give a number of 2, and give Ubhaya Rashi a number of 3. Add the sum of the two Rashis where the Lagna and 8th Lord is placed, or the Lagna and Hora Lagna are placed. If the sum of the two gives 4, it gives Alpai. You can see that when both are in Sthira, there is Alpayu. When one is in Chara and one is in Ubhaya, there is Alpayu. When both are in Chara, that means 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Or one is in Sthira and one is in Ubhaya, 2 plus 3 gives 5. So that gives long life. Similarly, the sum giving 3 and 6 will give medium life or medium duration of longevity. In this calculation of pairs, we have used this Hora Lagna. Now, most of you are familiar with Lagna or the ascendant at birth, but many people are not very familiar with what is called an Hora Lagna. The calculation of Hora Lagna is like this. Multiply the Ishtakala or the time of birth or the time of the epoch in Gadi Vigadi by 2 and divide it by 5. That means you multiply it by into 2 by 5. You are actually converting it into hours. Divide the remainder in Vigadis by 10. The result is degree. So when you multiply by 2 and divide by 5, what you get as the quotient, the number you consider it as a Rashi. And the whatever remainder you divide by 10 and whatever comes out you consider it as degrees of the Rashi. Add the Rashi degree means that the quotient and the result, the remainder divided by 10. That two numbers you add to the Janma Lagna in Rashi and degrees. If the Lagna is an even Rashi, okay, Sama Rashi, and if it happens to be an odd Rashi or it happens to be a Vishama Rashi, then you add it to the sun's longitude. So add the Ishtakala multiplied by 2 by 5 and the remainder divided by 10 to the Janma Lagna longitude or the Sun Lagna longitude, depending on whether the Janma Lagna is even or odd. What you get as a result is called the Hora Lagna. There are some softwares in the market which uses the Sun only. It doesn't calculate using the Lagna. This is an incorrect method and it is against the Siddhanta principles, traditional principles. You should use Janma Lagna if it is a Samarashi, and if the Sun if it is a Vishamarashi or odd Rashi. Here is a worked out example for Hora Lagna. We assume that the Janma Gadis are 54 Gadis 55 minutes. 54 Gadis 55 Gadis after sunrise. That means almost the next day. Sunrise, before sunrise, after midnight. The Lagna is in 11 signs, 14 degree, 40 minutes. So, and the Sun is at 0 sign, 17 degrees. The Sun is in Aries, Lagna is in Pisces. 54 by 55 into 2 divided by 5, it gives you a quotient of 21. Expunge the multiples of 12 from this, so remainder will become 9. The quotient will become 9. The remainder is 4, multiply it by 60 which make it Vigades, and 240 that divided by 10 is 29. So Lagna is an even Rashi here, it is the 12th Rashi. So this is to be added to the Lagna. So 929 you add to 1114, so you get 2113. Again expunge the multiples of 12. So 9 degree, 9 signs, 13 degree, 40 minutes is the Hora Lagna. Then Magar Rashi. Okay. Some software which I showed earlier erroneously will show it as Aquarius or Kumbha. Now all this table and the rest of the example I just showed always the Moon and Saturn. So the same relationship holds good for Moon and Lagna. If the Janma Rashi and Janma Lagna happens to be the same, or they are in mutually 7th Rashis, then Moon and Lagna should be used for this calculation. Now when you use this method of 3 pairs, you can end up with all the 3 showing the same value, 2 of them showing the same value, or all 3 showing different values. So then how do you determine the question? If the longevity predicted by these 3 combinations, all 3 are different, then you use Lagna Hora Lagna combination as the final. If all the 3 show long life, then it is a full life. If there are only 2 showing full, 1 showing anything different, then also you can predict long life. If all 3 are showing Alpayu or short life, then the person's life will be limited to maybe 32 years. 2 Alpayu combinations might give a little longer life, maybe between 36 and 40 years. Similarly, Madhyamayu gives around 70 and 64 years for the 3 and 2. Now, this is not the final age of his death or his lifespan, because there are some corrections to be used in later part of the uh, presentation we will see that. However, to quickly look at the possibility of a short life or a long life before starting any prediction, this is a very easy method of determining the possibility of longevity in the horoscope. After having completed this exercise of 3 pairs, we should then look at one more test, whether our judgment based on the 3 pairs is correct or not. For that we use 3 constants called Deha, Jiva and Mrityu Spudhas. If you multiply the Lagna longitude by 5 and add the longitude of Gulika, this is called a Prana Spudha or Jiva Spudha. So multiply the Lagna longitude by 5, expansion the multiples of 12 from it obviously, and then add the longitude of Gulika, you will get it in some sign, degree and minutes. So which is the considered to be a point in the chart, which is the Prana Spudha. Similarly, multiply the moon by 8 and add Gulika, that is called the Deha Spudha. Multiply Gulika by 7 and add Surya, this is called the Mrityu Spudha. Add the Deha Spudha and Prana Spudha, or Jiva Spudha and Deha Spudha together and compare it with the Mrityu Spudha. If Jiva plus Deha becomes greater than the Mrityu Spudha, then the Jataka has got a long life. If Jiva Deha sum happens to be lower than Mrityu, then there is a point of worry. Now this Prana Deha and Mrityu Spudhas we have determined and found out whether it is it is bestowing the Jataka with a longer life or a shorter life. But how will you determine at what time any death or suffering will happen to the native? So add Prana Deha and Mrityu Spudhas together. And the point is the Rashi and the Navamsa of the Rashi also you determine. That point's Navamsa also you can determine. When Sun transits this Rashi, there will be difficulties. Here it says causing expenditure. Causing expenditure means medical expenditure. Some lot of difficulties can come, health problems can come. And when Shani is transiting Trikona Bhava from this Rashi or the Navamsa of this Rashi, death can happen. There can be other reasons of the good effects of dashas, etc. might be there. So other factors may nullify it, but the death causing point is when Saturn passes through the Trigona Bhava of the Prana Deha Mrityu Sam. So in the last few slides, we have seen some quick methods of ascertaining the longevity of the native when you receive a horoscope. Now, having seen using the 3-pair method or the 3 constants of Prana Deha and Mrityu, we should now see other correlating factors in the horoscope where there are Dirghayu. If Dirghayu is predicted, is there any thing which can negatively affect that judgment, or it will reinforce that judgment of a Dirghayu. Has to be seen. So we should first look for longevity yogas, Dirghayu yogas in the horoscope. Now look at the kendras of the horoscope. If all kendras contain auspicious planets or Shubhagrahas, auspicious planets are mainly Jupiter, strong moon, Venus, and Mercury, as you already know. But Mercury, sometimes afflicted, can become evil. Similarly, Jupiter or Mercury having Uvayagendradipitya or having lordship of evil houses can also become inauspicious. So taking this proper consideration of an auspicious planet for that horoscope, we should see if all the kendras are contained with Subhagrahas. If the Lagna Lord is conjoined with the benefic Guru, and a Guru is aspecting the Lagna Lord, or aspecting, means one is conjoining and one is aspecting, then long life can be predicted. If Shani joins another planet who is in exaltation, or the 8th Lord joins a planet which is in exaltation, it can give long life. 3, 6 and 11 Upajaya Sthanas are containing cruel planets. Guru, Shukra, Buddha and full moon are in Kendras. We have already sent Shubhagrahas in Kendra. Shubhagraha in Kendras definitely give you long life. There is no need of specifically saying Guru, Shukra, Buddha and full moon here, but there is no Durukti dosha here actually. It is not being repeated. In the first place where we talked about Subhagrahas, here we consider auspiciousness with reference to the particular horoscope. Here we consider it as naturally beneficial planets. The 6th house has got a cruel and a gentle planet together. 7 and 8 contains benefic planet, and 3 and 11 as cruel planets. Then also the Jataka will have long life. So the 8th house, Shani, the Upachaya Sthana planets, benefics occupying Kendra, all these have to be quickly seen to ascertain whether our judgment using the 3-pair method or using the Deha, Prana, Mrityu, Constance method is correct or not. Here there is one yoga where Purnayu is given. Purnayu is more than 100 years. First look at the Lord of the Rashi in which the 8th Lord is placed. I mean the 8th Lord is now placed in one Rashi. Look at the Lord of that Rashi. And the Lord of the Rashi in which that Lord is placed. That means 8th Lord is placed in some Rashi. That Lord of the Rashi is placed in another Rashi. So that Lord of the Rashi. So now we have taken 2 planets into consideration. And then we have taken the 3rd planet into consideration, who is the Lagna Lord. So the planets indicated by 2 and 3, that means Lord of the Rashi in which the Lord of the Rashi where 8th Lord is placed and the Lagna Lord are together in a Kendra, then the planet will have Purnayu, the native will have, if the native will have Purnayu. If the planet 2 and 3 are both in Kendras, or 2 and 3 are together in one Rashi, also Jataka will have Purnayu. In the last slide, we saw the Purnayus Yoga using the Lagna Lord and 8th Lord. Now there is another full life yoga given in the ancient texts. The Lagna should be an Ubhaya Rashi. That is either Mithuna, Kanya, Dhanu, Meena. The planet owning this Rashi is in a Kendra. The planet owning this Rashi is Guru or Mercury, naturally, because it is one of the 4 corner Rashis. It is either Guru or Mercury. The planet thus positioned is in his own house, exaltation or Mulatrikona house. The Kendra house will also be a Verashi. So when the Kendra house is occupied by the Lagna Lord, it is very likely to be in his own house, but not necessarily always. So if Guru happens to be the Lagna Lord, it can be either in Dhanu Meena, it can be in Dhanu as Mulatrikona house. If the Lagna Lord happens to be Mercury, then he can be in Kanya because he is in exaltation there. So, if this combination is seen in the horoscope, full life, Purnayu can be predicted. Now, in the same way, if Lagna is in Ubhaya Rashi, its Lord, the Lagna Lord, is anywhere, doesn't matter. It need not be in a Kendra or in a Kendra house. It can be anywhere. But there should be 2 malefic planets in Kendra to the Lagna Lord. So either Guru or Mercury will again be the Lagna Lord, and Guru or Mercury is placed anywhere, and 2 malefic planets are there in Kendra to the Lagna Lord. Such combinations will give Purnayu to the native. So far we have seen the determination of a longevity of a native from a horoscope before predicting his future, so that we assure that the prediction given on his future is not compromised or jeopardized because of the longevity affliction. Now the same happens when a horoscope is being cast for a child. Soon after birth or within some few years after birth, it is a practice in our country that the parents will approach an astrologer to make the horoscope of the child and also ask the opinion of the astrologer that any pariharam or something is to be done if there is any evil foretold in the horoscope. So now in the next few slides, I'm going to give you a brief of the various factors which brings out impending danger to the child's life or the immediate relatives of the child, so that the parents or the relatives are cautioned about any possible danger. The moon placed in an Anishtasthana, 6, 8 and 12 are Anishtasthana's of horoscope. The moon placed in 6, 8 and 12 and aspected by Mars, Saturn, Rahu is a cause of early death of a child. Here the term called even when Guru is in Lagna is actually means that when Guru is in Lagna, the longevity is strengthened of the native. But even when Guru is in Lagna, if moon occupies Anishtasthana and a malefic aspects it, then it can cause danger to the life. There is also an opinion that Guru must be in his Nija Rashi, that is in Magar Rashi, for this to take full effect. The sun, although a malefic, if sun aspects moon, the moon is then full or Purnami. Therefore, the moon gets strength. So sun's aspect does not create any problem. Only Mars, Saturn, Rahu aspects create problem for the child. The next is when moon is in Gandanta. Gandanta Sandhi, all of you must be familiar. Aslesha Jeshta Revati, the last portion. And Ashwati Makamula, the first portion. The junction of two stars and two Rashis taking place together is called Gandanta. The last three gadis approximately, or 1.5 plus 1.5 gadis are the more critical portion of the Gandanta. And particularly in Jeshta Mula junction, it's called Abhukta Mula junction. So that is a different subject, we can talk about it in another session. So moon in the Gandanta Saddhi can create danger to life. Similarly, moon in Mrityubhaga. What is Mrityubhaga? There are certain degrees in a Rashi where moon is considered to be in a Mrityubhaga. For example, 26th degree of Aries or 12th degree of Rishabha and Simha 24th degree, and such places are called. There will be a table in your books if you can refer any textbook where Gandan Mrityubhagas are described, or any software which you are probably using. You can check the software for the Mrityubhaga or the distance of the planet from the Mrityubhaga. So if the moon occupies its Mrityubhaga and also aspected by a malefic planet. So a Gandanta moon or a Mrityubhaga moon aspected by a malefic planet will cause early death of the child. When a cruel planet owns 5th and 9th house, 5th or 9th house, I mean, it can cause harm to father, mother, brother, maternal uncle, maternal grandfather, etc. according to the karakatva of the planet. Sun, moon, sun is father's karaka, mother's karaka is moon, brother karaka is Mars, like this. So if fifth or ninth house ownership goes to one of these malefic planets, the sun and moon in the fourth house, sun and moon together in the fourth house, that's on Bartona and Amavasya actually. The sun and moon together are in fourth house, and Shani is in a Kendra to that sun and moon in the seventh house. So Shani is seventh house to Lagna and also fourth house to sun and moon. The birth has taken place in Amavasya. It is harmful to the mother of the child. Now here is described some problems and difficulties or death during delivery. Shani, sun and moon in the 12th house with Mars in the 4th house. That is, the Madhur is affected by Mars, and Sun, Moon and Shani are in the 12th house. This will cause death of the mother during delivery. However, you should make a note here particularly that Shani, Sun, Moon, all of them must be functionally malefic, not just by natural maleficence. Like for example, if Shani is Yogakaraka, then he is not a malefic for that particular horoscope. Therefore, his maleficence in the 12th house is lost. Likewise, Sun is half cruel, but he can be very benefic because of the 5th house or Trikona ownership or Lagna ownership. So which should not be there. Likewise, Moon should be weak, it should not be a full moon. But Sun and Moon here together in 12th house, when it says, it means that it is Ramavasya, so the Moon is weak anyway. Similarly, the Mars also should not be a Yoga Karaka, etc. In this case, the mother will come to harm during delivery. Both Lagna and Chandra in Pavakartari and no benefic aspect. This will also create difficulty in delivery, causing sometimes danger to life of child or mother. Now, when Sun is in its Ucharashi, that is in Mesha Rashi, or Mulatragona Rashi, and conjoined or aspected by Shani, and is from the 3rd house from Venus, this also causes death and difficulty. Same way, a weak moon and a malefic planet in 3rd house from Shukra also will cause difficulty in delivery. So these are the various aristas caused to the mother by the child. Now if moon occupies Lagna, it is aspected by sun. That means it is full. It's full or near full. It's having good strength. And the 3 and 11 Upajayasthanas are occupied by malefics. Then the delivery will be safe delivery. There should not be any problem. Lagna and moon have benefic aspects or aspected by Jupiter, and cruel planets occupy 3 and 11. Likewise, Konas and Kendras are occupied by benefic planets, and they are aspected by Sun or Jupiter. In this case also, delivery will be very safe and there should not be any problem for delivery. We continue again with some combinations of Balarishta. When Saturn and Sun together occupy 12th house and there's a weak moon in the 7th, the father of the child will come to harm. When a weak moon is in Lagna and a Pavagraha is in Kendra and 8th place, the child will come to danger. Saturn, Mars, Sun together in 8th or 6th house. Again, Anishtasthananas. And no benefic should be conjunct with them. Like Venus or Guru and all should not come in conjunction to them. In which case, there will be danger to the child. There are here now two combinations. It says 77th star from birth. From the birth of on the nativity star, if you keep counting stars, the 77th star when it falls on that date, it is in the 3rd month nearly. Here Saturn, Mars and Sun should occupy the 5th house. Or Mars should occupy the Navamsa owned by Moon and be placed in the 7th from Lagna. In this combination, an early death can happen to the child. Now, if Jupiter is in a Neecha Rashi or in a sign owned by Mars, that means in Aries and Scorpio, and that birth takes place precisely in the Sandhya, that is at midday, at sunrise or sunset, the child may die in 1 month's time. These are all several combinations we have listed for Balarishta. There are many other combinations for Balarishta, as well as there are many other combinations for longer life also. You can refer to the book Jataka Parijadam by Vaidyanath Dikshita. And in our next session, we'll talk about the methods and calculation involved in Ayurdaya Nirnaya. Thank you for listening. I hope this insight will give you a quick assessment of the longevity for a native, whether it's meant for a prediction or it is meant after birth of the child. Thank you.